If you're not already familiar, if this is maybe your first webinar with Leap, we do offer weekly webinars on a variety of topics. So I encourage you to check out our blog or connect with us across our social media channels to see what's coming next. We've also been working on rolling out a brand new podcast, which I'm super excited about, bringing you conversations from some of the industry's top CEOs, sales leaders, and home improvement professionals. I'm excited for you to get a chance to check that out. So be sure to add Leaps and Bounds to your list of podcasts. We have our 5th podcast episode rolling out on Thursday. So I'm excited for you to hear that. All right, let's move on here. I'm going to launch a quick poll here because we want to make this webinar as interactive as possible. And one way that we can do that is by understanding who's on. So if you would, please give us an idea of the size of your company. Let me launch this poll for you. There we go. It should be on your screen now. This will help us ensure that the message is tailored to you. Give everyone just a moment to answer that. See, people are still rolling in, so that's all right.
While they're still rolling in, I'll take a second to introduce myself. My name is Alan York. I'm the Director of Sales at EagleView. I've been in the industry for a little over 20 years. Worked in many capacities throughout it, from manufacturing, started with Elk in 1997, and have worked in distribution and then moved into technology, much like Tom. My mission statement, my personal mission statement has always been to help independent contractors become more profitable. And I've always figured in whatever role I was in that capacity, if I focused on helping others become more profitable, I would find a way to success myself. And to this point, it's proved pretty proficient. So I'm glad you're all here. It's nice to see the numbers adding up and people rolling in, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate that. Again, I'm Tom with Leap, so I'll be sharing with you information about Leap and the partnership with EagleView that some of the most successful contractors are taking advantage of. So I'm excited for that. As Alan said, EagleView National Sales Director. I'm going to give Alan the floor here to tell you all the wonderful things that EagleView is doing and how they're an industry leader.
So as you can see, EagleView is the leading provider of aerial imagery, data analytics, and property data. Our story starts with the ability to capture imagery in 3 dimensions from a couple scientists in Rochester, New York, that came from the Kodak company. But in order to be the leader in aerial imagery, what they came up with was the ability to decipher and analyze clearly and accurately the imagery that they were taking from the sky in 3 dimensions. So the 3-dimension story continues. Anyone looking at this photo may have a hard time identifying what it is. Take a second to try to guess there. When you take a step back and look at it from an oblique reference point, the way that EagleView captures imagery on the Earth's surface, we can clearly see it's a wine glass. And with that oblique imagery and the proper tools, we can not only identify it, we can measure the circumference of the rim, and we can accurately give you the volume of the glass, which makes it considerably different than what you saw from the ortho picture to start this thing. The same holds true for properly measuring structures in the roofing and siding industry. EagleView's patented image capture system is the only vertically integrated process that goes from the image capture process through geocoding to measuring the images and then delivering to the customer. Being able to control the entire process ensures that the single process delivers the most accurate reports in the market today. And regardless of which report you order, we're prepared to deliver our product to you with the same 3 attributes that we have built our reputation and success on. Number 1, we're always have been and always will be very easy to use. We're very efficient at delivering the report quickly. And probably most importantly, we are extremely accurate in our measurements, which enables you to really take advantage of a lot of different things to help scale your business. There's no other provider in the market today that delivers better on this criteria than EagleView does. And it allows you to scale your business and ensure profit maximization in your organization by being spot on every job. Lastly, in an effort to minimize as many variables as possible, you want to move to the next slide there for me, Tom?
Yep.
In an effort to minimize as many variables in your estimating, ordering, and production as possible, we've also added a suggested waste factor, which is relatively unique to EagleView. Using a mathematical equation derived after measuring millions of roofs, which EagleView has done, we deliver what we determine is the optimum waste factor of field shingles for each job. This enhancement benefits your company in a variety of ways. First, it eliminates mistakes by the sales team in estimating, so you always have the right bid on every job. Further, it can eliminate commission adjustments that may cause agita to both your accounting and upset sales team. And lastly, it maximizes your closing ratios at the optimum profit level that you've set. So there's no games being played by the salespeople to change the measurements. They have to continue to sell within the guidelines that you set up for the profit margins that they're allowed to move within. Second, it makes training and developing a sales team easier and more consistent. There's no need to train new hires on how to measure, or you have no need to go and hire individuals that already know how to measure. You can go and hire real world closers and let EagleView and Leap do the rest for you. You increase their confidence when selling. They have no concerns that they have either the wrong products or the wrong measurements in any capacity when you combine the two tools. And you eliminate HR issues as you have a happy sales team that is successful and doesn't make adjustments to their commissions over time. It tightens your production orders and your production of your installs. It minimizes any returns of material and eliminates costly shortfalls. You can manage the efficiency of your crews or subs by having a static waste calculation that you can hold them accountable to. And it closes the loop on much of what you would do to supplement in the restoration business. In most cases, the insurance carrier adjuster is looking at the same measurement report you are. They believe in it and will agree on the same waste calculation for the field shingles that you're giving them. Now, all you need to discuss with them is the scope of work that needs to be done. Lastly, all of these attributes and more add up to why EagleView is the #1 aerial measurement tool in the construction industry today and well into the future. We've got a short video here that kind of gives you an idea of how our process works in terms of image capture and what we can do with it. So I appreciate all of your time and letting me go through the report and the process with us, but the benefits are significant.
Alan, I appreciate that. One of the things I think that we talked about that was really unique and is the oblique capture. I know you touched on it briefly, but can you explain more about what that process is like and why that imagery is so powerful?
Yeah, so the obliques are everything. It's the secret sauce that makes EagleView. And what happens is when we fly our aircraft, we've got a camera system, and it's not on a swing, but you can think about it in terms of being on a swing, and the camera is swinging back and forth with several lenses all simultaneously taking pictures of the Earth's surface. Why it's important is without that swing and without being able to capture those oblique images, like we saw with the wine glass, you lose the ability to capture the sides of the homes. And so when people wonder why EagleView is so accurate, or as time has gone on and the understanding of this ability to do this, what the story is that most of our competitors or anybody else in the industry is using satellite imagery. And when you pan out on a satellite image, much like yourself at home with Google Earth, everything seems to either skew or flatten out. And with EagleView's imagery and our patented process of capturing those obliques, we can accurately pick up the pitch of every facet of that roof, see every underhang, pick up any returns or decorative parts of the roof. So when you buy a premium EagleView roof report and or walls report, you can be assured that you're getting 100% of what is real and not just a two-dimensional rendering, to make sure that you have the right measurements on every facet.
Yeah, that's great. I know you touched on it briefly, but I just wanted to, if you could highlight some of the things that are on the PDF report, some of the different things that if contractors haven't gotten an EagleView report, kind of what they can expect on there.
Yeah, I mean, the main page of an EagleView report that gives you the nuts and bolts of everything is the last page, the summary page. But before you get to that summary page, there's a lot of imagery of the homeowner's home that you can share with them. So you can bring the roof of the house in the sales process to the dining room table. So because we've captured pictures of their house, you can show the homeowner, hey, look, here's your pictures of your house. Isn't it pretty? And all these things. I noticed that bush wasn't there when this picture was taken, so on and so forth, whatever you want to go through. But when it comes down to it, it gives you a third-party ability to share with the homeowner, hey, it isn't, there's no cheating going on here. There's a consistent third-party firm that's used by hundreds, if not thousands of customers, including the enterprises and some of the biggest names in the insurance industry that you may have ever heard of, that all rely on this, that say, this place is accountable to their measurements. They are always accurate. In fact, we've been told to the standards that we hold, every 1 in 10,000 reports that we produce might be out of scope, and even at that, it's not by very much. So I would challenge anybody with a tape measure in their hand, unless they wanted to spend an exorbitant amount of time on every roof, to come within the same measurement details that we can in that way. And then we wireframe out the house so that they can see every line length, the size and square footage of every facet. It just adds a bunch of credibility to your entire sales process.
Awesome. I appreciate that. I think it's really helpful for everybody. And I apologize because I'm having some issues with my camera, but I think you've got Alan's beautiful face on there, so you all are taken care of. Well, awesome. I'm going to talk quickly about the Leap platform. Let me fast forward to the slide here. So, Leap is a point of sale application. It's digitizing every stage of the in-home sales experience. So this includes helping you create documents like surveys and assessments, importing your EagleView measurements to generate estimates within seconds, storing your sales materials such as manufacturer brochures, before and after photos, videos, links, and sales presentations, accounting for financing costs, submitting applications, and of course, creating one-of-a-kind proposals and ironclad contracts to help you win the job. So at a high level, that's I love to say that at a 30,000-foot view, but I feel like since I'm joined today by EagleView, I have to say it's a little lower, right? It's like a 2,500-foot view. So I've got some small screen recording here just to, again, show you at a high level some of the value that Leap is bringing to contractors. And so it all starts with, as a sales rep, when you've got your iPad out and you're at the appointment, you don't want to have to sit there and type in that homeowner's information 27 times throughout this process, right? You want it to come in one time and not have to continue to enter in data repetitively and make mistakes. So one of the nice things with Leap is it does integrate with a number of different CRMs that you're probably already using today. And so once that lead comes into the office, they put it in the CRM, they assign it to the sales rep, and it shows up in your Leap account. So there we go. We've got our customer. They've got all their information, address, name, email, everything that's pertinent. And the beauty is that information is going to carry throughout the entire sales process. So you don't have to enter in any more of that information. Then the beauty of this is creating the estimate, right? So simply click on roofing, you'll click on EagleView, you'll verify the address, and then with one click, you're able to bring in all the measurements that correspond to the different line items that it associates with. Once you've done that, you can easily swipe left and right here between the different options that you've created when you set up your account. Next, and I'll go back again and talk about some of the value in the integration and how seamless it makes your selling process. But first, I'll just show you again at a high level what Leap's capable of. So there is a resource section in here, and the beauty of this is that if you're used to selling roofing and you go out there with your shingle boards and you're standing up there like a scarecrow holding both the boards up there, am I doing charcoal black or weathered wood? The beauty of this is you've got all those brochures right in there, so they can flip right through them real easily. The other thing, like you saw, is that EagleView report automatically comes into your resource section. So when you select that to bring in the measurements, it also brings in that PDF that you can flip through. You'll see other things in here, other partnerships, like Company Cam or Engage or these others, where you can actually interact with and utilize those features too, all from this resource section. So you can link websites, YouTube videos, PDFs, videos, photos. All of that can be stored or housed within this resource section to make that sales presentation as fluid and as seamless as possible, because you don't want to lose that homeowner's attention, right? So with everything in one easy to use place, it's makes for a great sale. The other thing that Leap does is we partner with several different finance companies to allow you to offer financing. The beauty here is that the application's built right within here. You fill out the information, click next, and get an instant approval, denial, pending, but you get an instant decision. The other beauty here is that when you enter an information in one application, it'll actually carry over into the other, as well as any information you've already entered in previously throughout this process, whether it be the estimate, the customer, any of those stages. What some companies have done is actually utilize like a blank credit app that encompasses the varying fields from lender to lender. One lender may ask for monthly income, one lender may ask for employment history, all these different things. So you can actually bring all that into one blank credit application, fill that out, and then you can go and then click on each of these lenders and select it and send out that application, almost like a waterfall effect, right? So you send it to your prime lender, then you send it to your subprime lender, and then maybe you bring it back to the office because you still don't get an approval, and maybe you work with a local credit union or something. So all that information is securely stored on there, and it again provides for a seamless experience for your homeowner, as well as puts financing at the kitchen table, every time. That's one of the big things is a lot of contractors are not comfortable offering financing. Leap's taken a lot of that uncomfortability out of it here. I don't show it on here, but where you see finance calculator, and again in the estimate section, you can actually get what that monthly payment's going to be. You can see what the dealer fee is, and your estimate will account for that dealer fee. So if it's a $300 dealer fee, it shows up just like the cost of shingles as a line item, basically. So then let's go into presenting your estimate. So generating proposals, again, really the meat and potatoes of Leap here, right? You're going to create this custom document, and you'll see here I'm selecting different things that I want to include in my proposal. Very easily, I'm just going to add a photo of the front of this beautiful home. But then I can just go in there. If I've got some preset discounts I want to offer, I can turn those on. I can click next, and then it generates a nice proposal. Now, there are thousands of ways to create a proposal in here, and I'm simply showing one variation, but during your onboarding, you set this up however you want and however you'd like your proposals to look. And you can, as you can see here, I can also add brochures and literature and send that along with that proposal if I'm doing this appointment virtually. I'll move on to the contracts before I click play. The really neat thing about this document engine is that it acts almost like an accordion, right? So if this job was roofing, siding, windows, decking, bath, like I would select each and every one of those components for this contract. But in this instance, I don't need to, right? This is just the roof. So all I'm going to do is click on roofing. That'll bring in the necessary pieces of the contract for roofing without adding all that white noise of having to cross off the siding portion or cross off a window portion, or explaining away the fact that, hey, there is no HOA, so or maybe there is an HOA and I don't need to offer you these upgraded shingles. So there's a lot of customization that goes on in the back end of creating this contract. So you'll see here in action, I'm going to actually select the pieces that I want as part of this contract, and you'll see they're being numbered. So it's going to put it together and build this custom document for me. And you'll see it even brings in the EagleView report, so I can include that as part of this document. So I go through here and I'll enter in, some of these things are required as a company. Maybe if I was a contractor, I'd set up required fields for the sales reps. Say, I need to know what we're taking off, what we're putting on. You'll see here the photos from the EagleView report show up in there. Again, adding credibility, professionalism, perceived value, all those really good value points. More as it's going through here on the contract, you actually have the ability to accept checks, credit cards. We already know you can do financing, but actually when you're utilizing this credit card feature, it's securely capturing this payment information. So I know for me, when I was a sales rep and I'd write down the customer's credit card number on a piece of paper, and it's a huge red flag. You should not be doing that. Definitely not compliant with anything. So what this does is actually tokenizes the credit card information and stores it securely, so that after that 3-day right of rescission, I can go ahead and run this payment. Maybe it's half and half, or a third, however your payment terms are. But I can easily run those once I leave the office, or once I leave the appointment. So what you're seeing here is a completed, full PDF contract. The beauty here, I can again sign this right with the homeowner at the kitchen table. I know a lot of you are still meeting with homeowners in home, which is awesome. But I do know a lot of you are doing this remotely, and so we also have an integration with DocuSign, so you can easily send this to the customer to get signature. And you'd essentially be doing a screen recording, or screen sharing, just like I'm doing here on this presentation, right? Where I've got an iPad on here utilizing something like a Zoom or a Google Hangout, or I think my daughter started kindergarten and they're using Google Meet. So any of those type of things that you can share a screen with, you can do these kind of virtual appointments with. So as you see here, we signed a contract, sent a copy to the homeowner, maybe back to the home office, also went to the CRM, goes to Leap's backend, so you have all these documents stored for you. Then the last part of this, right? I'm a sales rep. I've gone through my full appointment. I've created an estimate. I've shown the value in the company, maybe some past projects, really sold the value there. Then I offered them financing. We did the credit app, showed them a proposal. They agreed. We signed a contract. Everything's going great. The last step in this is resulting that appointment, right? Because it's one thing to sell the job. Everybody's high-fiving, but if you don't result that lead, nobody back at the home office knows, right? So it's really important to result the lead. What some sales reps have said too is that it actually saves them a lot of time from having to go into the CRM. So the nice thing here is that resulting the lead in Leap, if you're connected and integrated with one of the CRMs that we integrate with, this will all go right back into the CRM. So the sales rep, you don't have to go back and update all that stuff at the end of the day. This all happens real time for you. I know we have another partner in Hatch that does some text messaging, or I should say messaging platform. And this can actually kick off different rehash campaigns or upselling, or maybe this was a no sell because it was a one-legger, and you've got a specific route that you want that leads with that type of disposition require. This will automatically kick those kind of things off. So there's a lot that can be done from here, but main point is you can result this lead. It results in the CRM for you, and as a sales rep, I can move on to my next appointment, right? Because I know when I was selling, I was 100% commission, and I just wanted to sell. If I wasn't selling, then I wasn't making money. So anything that could help reduce or eliminate paperwork or steps that happened outside of the home, I wanted to take advantage of. So with that being said, you've kind of seen some of the value of EagleView, some of the value of Leap, but really there's an old saying in partnerships that 1 + 1 = 3. And it's really true with Leap and EagleView. The way that the two of us work together, we're better together. And I want to talk about some of those ways. And I'll invite Alan to jump in and share. I know we've kind of discussed some of these things. So so one of the things that I showed you first was the ability to actually bring in the measurements. And what's really cool there is if you're at a property, you've already got the address in there. You've already ordered your EagleView report. So when you pull up this measurement section and you click on EagleView, the address is already going to be in there. So you'll simply click on that report that's already been done. And once you click on that, it's going to automatically fill in those line items. Now these line items are being mapped. When the account's set up, they're mapped in the back end to that, hey, shingles equal, square footage of the roof. Yep. And it's a very simple thing there, but essentially that's what's being done, right? So the back end, it's all set up like that. So all you have to do as a sales rep is click on EagleView, verify that address, bring in that report, and it's going to automatically populate all those numbers. Now, just a quick funny story. Back when I was selling roofing, I went to this customer's home. I had my EagleView. I was putting together an estimate for them. I go to present the estimate to her, and before I even get through it, she had looked down at the price, and she goes and grabs her checkbook and is ready to write me a check. And immediately, like, a red flag went off, like something's not right here, right? Like I love a one call close. all about it, but it usually is not that easy to where I haven't even talked about some of the really important things that we're going to do. And so the red flag went up that it's got to be something with my price. My price is too low. And sure enough, I went through everything. I said, let me I just want to verify everything, make sure I've got everything accounted for. And I went back and looked at my EagleView report, and I had written in the wrong square footage. And so when I did all my pricing and equated all that, obviously I had a much lower price. And so I had to apologize and come up with that price. But what I hear from contractors is sometimes you don't catch some of those. Some of those are really small errors that it's not a big difference, or maybe you're the first sales rep out there to the customer and they don't have an idea yet on what that price should be. And those can be some pretty costly errors. So the benefit here is that you're not taking that EagleView report and writing down what those numbers are, either in Excel or on a piece of paper. These numbers are being automatically brought in via an API connection that's pulling this data from EagleView. So again, it's less work on your side as a sales rep, right? You just click the button, brings all these measurements in, I click done, and now I've got my prices. Super easy.
Your point is well taken there, Tom. It's we talked a lot about the accuracy of EagleView and what we bring to the table, but if you're going to take that information and make a mistake in transposing it, you're certainly going to give yourself a bigger headache than what you need. So the integration that we have with Leap and the ability to bring in that measurement automatically, eliminating any opportunity for a mistake to go between the two is certainly one of the biggest benefits that we see in the integration.
Yeah, absolutely. And so speaking of that, I think what's really neat about this is not only again, you only did that one time, right? You clicked on EagleView, you verified that address, you clicked done. It not only brought in all those measurements, but it also brought in that report. Now, Alan can certainly speak to the value in having that report, but as a former sales rep, having a third party, I don't want to say verify, but have a third party give those measurements just adds so much credibility with a homeowner. And it adds professionalism, it adds perceived value, it adds all those things. It enhances the sales presentation when you're able to say, that your home was measured using the latest technology with such high level or high efficiency cameras. That provides such good insight and clarity. And so this is all measured. I didn't not account for something. Everything's been accounted for. Shouldn't have a double negative there. Everything's been accounted for. Here's the ridges, here's the eaves, here's where we're going to put ice and water shield, all those type of things that a homeowner, probably it's their only roof that they've replaced. A lot of homeowners only do this once. And so it's very helpful to go through that process with them, being able to have their roof, their measurements, the photos of their property, and to be able to showcase exactly that you've accounted for everything and that you're as accurate and thorough as possible.
So you said it perfectly, by the way. Third-party verified is exactly the way that you should present it. And bringing in those numbers and ensuring the accuracy just leads to so much credibility with the customer. So, when you're a salesperson and you're sitting in someone's home, you're certainly trying to build credibility with yourself. You're trying to build credibility in your company, and you're also trying to build credibility with the product that you sell. And having that third-party verification certainly helps with all that. The other thing that I would certainly, to the contractors and the owners of contracting companies out there and or the salespeople that might be listening, the combination of these two products leads to the ability to scale through consistency in a way that you may never have thought about before. Just being able to bring a salesperson online and not having him need to be able to measure, and all he really needs to focus on is that credibility at each level. And you're giving him the tools in a very consistent methodology to be able to build that credibility time and time through repetition, being very similar each time, knowing how long each part of the process should take, so on and so forth, just leads to higher closing ratios, more profitability, and the ability to then add more sales reps to your firm, take the extra money that you're now making to bring to the marketing equation, generating more leads, opening up new locations. If you have any desire to grow your business and continue to get bigger, the combination of these two products, it's hard to beat in terms of the consistency and the ease in which it can provide the ability to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Want to touch on another one of the really neat things about the integration is those photos that EagleView's taken with their planes will actually show up here in your document section. So you can leverage those photos with the homeowner to show them not only do you have all the right measurements, but this is actually your house. And look at these photos. You know, like this shows you all the different areas of the house. You're able to add field notes. Maybe you want to say, hey, have the material dropped on the left side of the driveway, or you want to talk about a specific section. Maybe it's the south side of the home that's roof is damaged on, or maybe you want to discuss with them about, maybe there's a short distance between your house and the neighbors, and you want to talk to them about what to expect during the tear off of that project. So there's a lot of value in having those, and again, it adds to that perceived value, it adds to the credibility, adds to that professionalism. But I think it's a really neat feature of the integration because, again, all this happens at one time. All you're doing is during the estimate section, when you're clicking on roofing, you click on EagleView, and it brings in not only the measurements and the PDF, but it also brings in these photos. So I think it's really cool that all of that is going on behind the scenes with very little lift, if you will, from the sales rep's perspective of bringing those in here. And then another really neat feature with this is the way that EagleView report actually shows up in the documents section. So again, you can include that PDF as part of, or that report as part of the proposal or part of the contract. Just by simply tapping on it, what happens here is it creates one document. So if you think back in the day when people used paper, so long ago, but back with paper, right? You'd have all these different, maybe a shingle brochure, and you'd have, your carbon copy contract, and you'd have, this one pager about the ice and water shield you're using, and credit card capture form, and you've got your EagleView report. And so you've got all these kind of separate documents. The nice thing with this is that it'll actually take all this, again, kind of like that accordion where you're selecting the things you want to include in here, and it's building this custom document for you. And so one of the neat things, again, by simply pulling in those measurements is you also pull in the PDF to the resource section for the sales presentation time. You pull it in, the photos in to be able to attach to a contractor proposal. And then you also pull in the report to be able to include it as part of the contract. So I think it's really nice, really good value add that you get by doing that one simple task of pulling in those measurements, which all starts by ordering that EagleView report.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, when I started the industry 20 years ago, we thought we were being forward thinking with having a folder with the brand of the contractor on the page, and you'd open up the folder and there would be different size sheets of paper going up the list. So from where you started with drip edge to ice and water shield to underlayment, and working your way up and talking about each product. What we've discovered now, 20 something years later, is that computers aren't a fad. And if you're not on board and not moving in this direction, you're going to get run over. So it's nice to have the opportunity to work with companies like Leap and EagleView to put the two together and create just this amazing consistency that delivers in a way that adds, like I said, ease, simplicity, credibility, and in Leap's case, an awful lot of sexiness in how they propose to the homeowner.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we go further, I'm just going to launch a quick poll. And if you're interested in learning more about Leap or more about EagleView or both, go ahead and select that there, and someone will definitely follow up with you. I just want to let you know, if you do have any questions throughout this, please continue to put them in the questions field. I've seen some come in already, so we'll make sure that we get to those here in just a little bit. Haven't forgotten about you, but I'd like to take this moment to just invite anybody to learn more. Obviously, the things that I've spoken about and that Alan has spoken about are certainly kind of scratching the surface, and we'd love to have a more in-depth conversation with you to learn more about your business and exactly how we can help you. Go ahead and close that. Awesome, thanks. So kind of, we'll start to wrap this up here. EagleView and Leap, like we said, 1-on-1 is 3. But really, when you start taking advantage of the full ecosystem and all that it has to offer, there's a lot that we can do together with not just some of the partners you see on the screen, but with all the different partners that we work with. So certainly want to make sure that you take advantage of that, as well as our other partners. So with that, we'll get to some Q&A. Before I do that, I just wanted to let everybody know too that we do have an offer running right now, a promotion where we're giving your 4th quarter at no cost. So if you sign up with Leap Premium by the end of September, you'll get 3 months free. So want to throw that out there before we get too far into the Q&A. Awesome. So Alan, you ready for some questions?
Sure.
Let me pull up, see what we got here. All right, so I got a first question here is, how do I get my EagleView reports? Do they come from EagleView or Leap? That's a good question.
That is a good question. So the integration that we currently have, you order your EagleView reports from EagleView, and the integration takes place after that. So from your Leap platform, and Tom, you may be better equipped to answer the question of how the report gets brought in, but you order it directly from EagleView, and then you pull in the report from your EagleView account into Leap after the fact.
Yeah. So if as long as you have an EagleView account, there's an onboarding stage for Leap, and if you're already an active Leap customer, then all you need to do is reach out to support. But there's an integrations tab on the back end, and you'd simply activate that and authenticate your account, and then any jobs that are completed will be available there for you to select. There you go. And I got another question for you. How does EagleView work for gutter estimating?
So actually, it works very well. The way we do it is we measure all the eaves of the home, and from the imagery and from the wireframes that we create, we tell you all the different lengths of gutter that you need around the home. We can also tell you the height of how many stories it is to each eave, so you know how long the drops need to be. The one thing that I would say is that it does take one extra step on the part of the contractor, and that is to identify where the drops ought to go. The number of drops that we give you on our report is a function of linear foot divided by how many drops you should have by linear foot, and it may not pick up, say, a doghouse on the front porch or something that only has a 4-foot length. It may not account for an extra gutter there, so you do want to just give it a quick sniff test. But you can certainly do that from the wireframes, from the measurements, and then a combination of that and the imagery of the home without ever having to set foot on the homeowner's property.
Yeah, awesome.
And it's a very inexpensive product too, by the way. It's a flat $12 report, so it doesn't cost much to get involved in that portion of our business.
Awesome. I got another question here. I think it's along the lines that we already addressed, but they said they already purchased EagleView reports. Is there anything you need to do differently? The only thing you need to do is make sure that within that Leap backend that the account's been authenticated, just meaning that the accounts are linked, and that will then give you the ability to select those reports at the point of sale when you're doing an estimate. I hope that answers that question.
Yes, if I talk out loud for a second, I think all of that requires is a call to the customer service team at Leap to make that happen. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it's a very easy process. Yep. Awesome. A lot of good questions in here. Wow, this is Can I get EagleView in both the 2D and the 3D formats?
So when you order an EagleView, you should, our quick square report is a 2-dimensional report. So if you're only looking for 2 dimensions, Our quick square report is flat $18, and it takes what we call the ortho image, which we talked about at the beginning, which is the top down, the same as you are accustomed to seeing when you go to Google Earth. And then we look at it from one side. We determine what we think the most significant facets of that roof are, and where the majority of the roof lies in terms of the largest area of pitch. So we take one shot of what the pitch is, rather than giving you a full premium report. And from that, we calculate the roof at that pitch for the entire report. So that is the equivalent of what our 2D report would be. Anytime you order an EagleView premium report, the only reason you would ever get a 2D report from us when you order a premium report, and this does occur, is if we don't have the ortho image. Now, 96 or 97% of the country, we have ortho images just about everywhere, but there is 3 to 4% of the population where you may get a 2D report back from us. And all we're saying there is hey, we don't want to make a mistake. We certify that any premium report that we sell to you is 100% accurate. And in this particular case, since we can't see the pitch, we're a little uncertain. However, we give you the ability to put in your own pitch right then and there. So if you have pictures of the side of the house, you can do it yourself. Or if you go to the home and just take a look at the pitch with a pitch gauge and put it up there, you can put in a blanket pitch, or you can put in the pitch of every facet on the document itself, and it'll automatically turn itself into a 3-dimensional report with your information added to it.
Great. These all seem to be questions for you, Alan. Does EagleView offer other reports other than this offer reports like deck, pools, patios, or driveway measurements?
We don't do anything with decks, pools, or patios, and quite frankly, a big part of the reason for that is that you only need 2 dimensions to do that, and our core competency is having that 3-dimensional image. So you can measure a pool, a patio, or anything flat from a 2-dimensional image, which means that there's anybody can create it. So we've chose to stay out of that market in terms of our report business. So again, if that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, got one for me finally. What CRMs do you integrate with? So we integrate with a bunch. I name them Improve It 360, Job Nimbus, Market Sharp, Lead Perfection, Salesforce. And those are the ones today. If you don't have one of those CRMs, you can also, there's webhooks available. Let me say that. There's also a back end of Leap that stores all the documents you generate. And we can also send, all those documents can be sent to a specific email address. And we can also pull in appointments and stuff from, say, your Apple Calendar, your Google Calendar. So there are other options as well. Outside of that, we are, adding CRMs to our partnerships. We're always interested to hear, who you're using and bringing you more value that way. So appreciate the question. Let's see, another question, Alan. Or maybe it's for me. Let's see. Do you provide training on how to use all of these features, and how long does it take to learn how to use the tool and get my sales reps up and running? I think that's in reference to Leap, but Alan, you're certainly willing, or you can certainly answer that from your side too. But I'd say from the Leap side, there's an onboarding stage. So when you sign up with Leap, you're almost given a blank slate, right? We're not trying to fit you into a into a square. If you're a round peg, what we want to do is actually take what you're doing today, what's working successfully, and digitizing that experience. So you'll work with a dedicated onboarding specialist throughout your sort of setup time, and that includes doing things like going through your pricing, getting that into Leap, setting up your documents the way that you want them, and then connecting with any of the partnerships we have, whether it's a financing integration, connecting your EagleView account, all those types of things would be done then at the end. And then From there, do a couple trainings with the team so that they're comfortable with using it, and then your onboarding is complete. So it can go as fast or as slow as really as you have bandwidth for. Some companies go through that pretty quick, and then others kind of put it on the back burner and go through it at a slower pace. So you've got all the support that you want from us, and so it's just a matter of how much bandwidth you have to do it. A lot of companies see a lot of value in going through that process because it almost acts as an audit for them for their business, and they can find areas where they're being wasteful or not as efficient, and trim those type of things out. So I hope that answers your question from a Leap side. And I don't know how quickly is it to get set up with EagleView?
From the EagleView side, if you go to EagleView.com, set up new account button, it's no different than setting yourself up with Amazon. You enter your credit card into the system and set up a username and password, and then all you have to do is hit the order button, and it'll bring you to a screen that tells you to put the address of the first report that you'd like to order into it. So if you've ever ordered anything off Amazon, I assure you it's probably as easy, if not easier, to order a roof report from EagleView.
Awesome. I did get another question, Alan. When I do order the EagleView report, how long does it take to get it?
Yeah, so
they want to make sure the timing's right.
Yeah, the answer to that question is it depends. You will immediately get an email from us telling us that you will get it within 48 hours because that's our guarantee. On an annualized basis, our average turnaround time for premium reports last year was just over 4 hours. Now, having said that, we have had times when a derecho and a hailstorm and a hurricane all hit within the same week, where everybody who was anywhere near those locations as a homeowner filed an insurance claim, and a bunch of roofers all ordered reports at the same time as the insurance companies did. And we measure everything by hand to be extremely accurate. It's important that we do it that way. There's a lot of people out there trying to fool around with machine learning to measure the reports, but to the best of our ability, and from what we've seen from anybody trying to do it the other way, there's no current solution to hand measuring. And so when you have a hand measuring situation, it's as fast as the text can put them out. So the long answer to your very short question, I apologize, is simply that I don't think there were too many cases where it took more than 24 hours. I don't think we had any cases that were over 48, unless we sent back a question about the report that was ordered. For example, if the pin didn't sit on one particular house, or it was difficult for us to understand exactly what you wanted us to measure. It is important when you order from us that you make sure that the pin is placed exactly on the structure that you're looking to get a report from us from. I hope that answers the question.
I think so. If not, let us know in the questions comment. Alan, I did get a bunch of questions about partner discounts, partner programs, partner codes, all those type of things. So you and I can certainly chat offline and discuss those type of things. So happy to get back to those of you that answer or ask those type of questions. Maybe there's something we can do to help address those.
If they're asking about it on your side, if you're affiliated with a manufacturer and you have a manufacturer's affiliation number, you can identify that when you sign up. That's one of the questions that we ask. And there are some manufacturers, most actually, that have beneficial pricing for you. So if you do have that, don't be afraid to use it. We're not trying to hide that from anybody or make it a secret. We want to support our partners that are out there from a manufacturer's perspective. The other thing I will tell you, going back, I'm sorry, because I did forget this, in terms of timing, the quick square report is guaranteed within an hour. So if it's something that you need a rough and dirty number on very quickly, the quick square report for $18 is guaranteed to return within 1 hour.
Awesome. And Alan, let me ask you this too, while we're on that topic. Have you seen folks taking advantage of EagleView during this pandemic, where people aren't maybe driving out and having in-person appointments as much?
Yeah, it's funny. we didn't know what to expect. You know, if you go back to March 27th and looked at what the world looked like, and everybody's kind of, nobody knew, us more than anyone. But a funny thing did happen along the way. Roofs still needed to get replaced. Drove everyone back into their homes. And so that they were noticing things about their homes more so than they ever had. And the roofing business and the siding business and the windows and probably the tree bid business and other things, you know, home improvements on the inside as well, seemed to get a lift from it. From that perspective, what then occurred is they didn't want to actually meet with anybody, and this concept of virtual sales process became a buzzword. It's probably going to be in the dictionary, you know, at some point, and no one ever thought about it until this year and until the pandemic hit. And when that happened, there's no other product in the market where you don't have to rely on anyone else but yourself. And you don't have to go to the job, and you don't have to, you know, leave your home, and you can estimate a client's job simply by ordering an EagleView and you know, integrating it into whatever system you use, but Leap in this case, to be able to come up with an estimate and share it. And Leap really does provide an excellent conduit to which, you know, you can do a Zoom meeting or a webinar like we're doing here, where you can share the measurements, the products, and the price with a customer without ever having to have them worry that they're going to get sick or anything like that. So we certainly saw a tremendous uplift from that.
Yeah, great. No, I've heard similar things. I'm just launching another quick poll just in case you didn't get a chance to answer the other one. If you are interested in learning more about Leap and or EagleView, certainly let us know, and we reach out and have a more detailed conversation. Ellen, that's all I have. I want to thank everybody. Thank you for joining us, and really excited about the partnership and the ease of use with this integration and the value that it adds for everybody. So I appreciate it.
I want to take a moment to thank you for reaching out and inviting us to join this. You know, the webinars throughout this whole thing had gotten a little bit crazy about things, but there's still a dire need for people to understand and see how they can improve their business. And if it weren't for people like you, there's a lot of people that wouldn't make as much money as they currently do. So I appreciate the opportunity to get to speak to you and your audience. It's been really a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate that. On the screen, I've got contact information for both Leap and EagleView. Just don't text Alan at 2 a.m. for a ride home, right, Alan? I'll give back everybody, 5 minutes. So really appreciate the time today. Thanks again for coming on. And if you had a question there that we didn't get to, we'll be sure to follow up with you. So appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.